Good morning, everybody. My name's Tyler, and today we are explaining the truth about electric vehicles. So, in the year 2035, California and some states and many other countries are trying to ban petrol and diesel cars. And also, Norway is expected to get rid of their petrol and diesel cars by 2025. However, the truth is actually far different than electric cars, and I'm gonna explain why. So first of all, where your electricity is coming from. So 43% of the global production of electricity actually comes from coal, oil, and gas power plants, and also renewable energy such as solar electricity and nuclear energy. Actually, nuclear energy is a lot cleaner, and I'm gonna get to that later. And wind energy. So solar and wind are considered impractical because it completely relies on the weather, while nuclear energy does not, like coal and oil power plants. So that means that in the studies conducted around the 2010s and the 1980s, nuclear energy is actually considered to be the cleanest form of energy there is. So if you plug in our EVs, they will be considered pointless because you're still gonna contribute to the environmental pollution nonetheless. And those power plants are a major contributor compared to the only 3% contribution to transportation, private transportation vehicles like petrol, diesel, and electric. So let's move on to how much of an EV it emits. So petrol in a lifetime is 39 tons of CO2, while a diesel in a lifetime is 42.65 tons, meaning that petrol is actually a lot cleaner than diesel, and EVs are not spared from the dirtiness. So EVs are actually a few more gigatons because of the battery production going on and the exploitation of laborer rights in these countries where they make them, especially in African nations such as the Democratic Republic of the Congo and Mozambique. And so we're gonna move on to our next standpoint called nuclear energy. So nuclear energy is actually a lot cleaner, as found out by several scientists. So nuclear energy actually emits far less than what coal and gas does in our power plants. And so this contributed to a major net loss in Rivian and Lucid, and that's why we're focusing on failing EV startup companies. So over time, during 2020 and 2023, Lucid reported a net loss of $760 million. That's because people are preferring more hybrids and more petrol cars than EVs, because EVs are way too expensive, and also some customers even reported that they have to replace the parts and especially the battery, and it's the same price as the MSRP of their car. And I find it a total disgrace. And I think that the government the governments and the corporations are being greedy, and they're trying to lie their way out, and they're creating excuse after excuse of electric vehicles and how they're good for the environment when they really are not, because of the factory production going on in these nations. So the major net loss reported by any EV startup company was Rivian, with the $1.45 billion loss. This is a major problem with these companies, because within a few years from now, they may either head up bankruptcy or start merging with other companies, which could make the problem even worse, even from a financial standpoint. Because many people who invest in these companies are reporting a big loss, and their stocks are becoming overpriced. And that leads us to the conclusion, the solution. So, what's the solution, you might ask? Well, the solution is try making petrol cars a lot more cleaner, and try introducing a little more synthetic in the petrol and the fuels required, and try to remove a lot less diesel cars from public roads. And also, EVs are damaging the infrastructure, and they're not a good financial standpoint, even if you're trying to look for a new car yourself. And if you want to get an EV, expect those taxes to rise up, the insurance rates to rise up, and most importantly, the repair bill to rise up in several years to come. So I'm going to end the video here. Make sure you liked it. And make sure you tell your family and friends about it. And most importantly, subscribe. Thank you so much.